All right, so in this video, we're going to take a look at the law of sines. So the trigonomic functions sine, cosine, tangent, or cosecant, secant, and cotangent require a right angle. There are two laws that can be used when no right angle is present. We have the law of sines and we have the law of cosines. So first we're going to learn about the law of sines. And this is just simply, we have a triangle, but we do not have a right angle. So we can still solve a triangle. We can still find the missing pieces. We just have to use this law, or if we have some other situation, we might have to use the law of cosines, but that'll be a different video. So we can see that there's this ratio, the side A over the sine of angle A, side B over sine of angle B, side C over sine of angle C. Now remember, the angles are capital and the sides are lowercase and they're across from each other. So angle C is capital C and that's across from lowercase c. And then same thing with capital A, that's across from lowercase a. B is across from lowercase b. So they do that on purpose. They group them because that makes it a little easier to plug this in and know, which sides am I using. I've also seen this ratio flipped over. It works just the same. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't matter as long as you have A over A, B over B, C over C. You just want to mix those up, but it doesn't matter if you have the angle on top or the angle on the bottom. That's not a big deal. All right, so let's go ahead and apply this. So they want us to solve the triangle. So consider triangle ABC like the one below. Suppose that angle A is 61 degrees. So there's 61 degrees. Angle B, that's 55 degrees. And side A is 6 degrees. So they've given us 3 of the 6 parts of the triangle. Remember, there's 3 sides, there's 3 angles. So they want us to solve the triangle. They want us to find it. They're also giving us this little thing that says figures not drawn to scale. They do not actually want you to go through and try to measure anything and use any kind of, rulers to see, is there a ratio I can find out or a protractor if you're trying to measure an angle. They actually want you to use the mathematical function here, the law of sines, to find the answers. So it says round your answers to the nearest tenth. If there is more than one solution, use the button labeled or. So that's on Alex. If you have more than one answer, you can do that. So far, I've not had to do the or button or had that come up. If you have 2 of the 3 angles, remember you can use the triangle angle sum theorem, which just says the 3 angles add up to 180 degrees, right? So I have 61, I have 55. Well, I can use the triangle angle sum theorem to figure out what angle C is, right? 180 equals 55 plus 61 plus C. So I'm going to add 55 and 61 together. And then I'm going to subtract 116 from both sides so that I can figure out what's left over. So 64 degrees is what's left over for angle C. I don't know why I went lowercase on that. Those should definitely be capitals. So that's the first part. I've already found one of my 3 parts that I need to find. So now I'm going to determine which ratio I'm going to use. So when I use the ratio, if you notice there was 3 of them, I'm only going to use 2 at a time. I'm not going to use all 3. They're all equal to each other, but I choose the 2 that are best suited for what I need. So I need at least 3 parts to be able to use it. I can only have one missing part. So I have angle A, I have side A, I have angle B, I'm missing side B. So I can use this one. I could have also done the same thing with angle C now that I know what angle C is. But I'm starting with angle B for whatever reason. So I'm going to fill this one in. So angle A is 61, so it's sine of 61 over 6 because that's side A. And then sine B, so B is 55 degrees, so sine 55 over B because I don't know what B is yet. That's my variable. So now I have a proportion. I'm going to cross multiply. So sine of 61 times B equals the sine of 55 times 6. Now, I haven't multiplied these together because I don't like doing intermediate computations. If I can wait until the very end, I'll do that because if you round within the problem, sometimes you will change the answer just enough that Alex will mark you wrong. So be careful about rounding within the problem. Usually it'll tell you don't do any intermediate computations or any immediate rounding in your computations. All right, so to get B by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by sine of 61. So the signs cancel, and on this one, what I did, it was 6 times. On my calculator, I have to do 55 and then click sine. On some calculators, you'll click sign and then it'll pop up with parentheses and you type in 55. Completely depends on the calculator. You'll just kind of have to figure out which calculator you have there, which one it requires. Because I'm using an Apple calculator on my phone, on my iPhone, it requires me to type 55 and then click sign. So I go 6 times 55 sign, and then divided by 61 sign. And that gets me 5.6. All right, so I'm going to do it again. Now I need to know my last part, which is the side C. So now I can use that ratio again, but I'm going to do angle C over side C. So I'm just going to switch the ratio up. So my first ratio is actually going to be exactly the same. Nothing has changed. It's going to be sine 61 over 6. But the second ratio is going to change because now I have an angle of 64 instead of an angle of 55. And I'm using side C instead of side B. So I'm going to cross multiply again. So I have sine of 61C equals sine of 64 times 6. So same thing. I'm not going to do any kind of multiplication until I get to the end. I'm going to divide that sine of 61 again by both sides so it cancels. And then just, again, be aware when you type it into your calculator, it just depends on which one you have, what it requires. So you should get 6.2 for side C. So that is solving a triangle with the law of sines. I hope that helped, and I will see you in the next video.